5 cars as things stand. Russell, Norris, Tsunoda, Doohan and Piastri. So, just ahead of us in this session at the moment are Leclerc, Ricciardo and Drogovic. And just behind us are Ocon, Lawson and Hauger. The fastest lap at this point in time is a 1 minute 09.5. We don't have the data for that, I'm afraid. Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves once again of our top 3. Daniel, Norris and George Russell. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry. We'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix. Welcome along then to the North Sea coast and to the Zandvoort circuit. We're 25 miles away from Amsterdam for today's Dutch Grand Prix. It's a race the great Jim Clark won on 4 occasions, leading for an astonishing total of 370 laps. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Daniel lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Doohan, Iwasa, Ricciardo, Liam Lawson, Albon, Théo Pourchaire, Gasly, Hauger, Ocon, Drogovic, Joe, Magnussen, Stroll and Logan Sargent. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Here we go then, the formation lap is underway and the track temperature looks warm. That may or may not play into some of the team's hands in today's race. As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
Ever heard singing coming from the Alpine garage? Some say that's legendary mechanic Curly Wainwright. Jim Clark is one of the most successful drivers here in Zandvoort. In a 5-year period...
Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining. You're leading the pack, that's P1. Okay, Russell's behind you now. They're on old mediums. Look after these tyres now, you want to finish the race on this compound. 2 laps left. Next time by will be your final lap. understand we're going to be leading the championship. Damage to the rear wing. You've got damage to your rear wing. All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
A difficult race then on a circuit that demands complete concentration, but they've persevered to take the win here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. So let's review the drivers' standings. This result then narrows the gap between our championship leader and the rest of the standings. Well, after an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
position, front of the pack. And we're in front of Tsunoda, Ricciardo and Albon. Currently the fastest lap is a 1:18.4. We don't currently have the data for that request.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Daniel, Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo. With qualifying wrapped up now, we have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race. Welcome to the home of the Parabolica, now known as the Curva Alboreto in tribute to the Italian motorsport legend Michele Alboreto. It's a long right-hander. It dares you to keep your foot as far down on the throttle as you possibly can. It's one of the great corners on the calendar, and we're here at Monza, ahead of the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds up to 215 and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Daniel lines up on pole position, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ricciardo, Albon, Russell, Leclerc, Théo Pourchaire, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Iwasa, Doohan, Liam Lawson, Drugovich, Sargent, Gasly, Hauger, Joe, Ocon, Magnussen, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Let's talk about Daniel. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Italian F1 driver of all time.
overtake and burn off some of this energy. DRS is being enabled this lap. You can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap, box this lap. Alexander's in the pits, Alexander in the pits. Caution, caution.
And away we go. No problems, very smooth. Red Bull will no doubt be very happy with that stop.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit or receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track. Final lap, let's go, final lap. Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining. Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
There it is then, victory in the Italian Grand Prix, an historic race and an achievement they can be immensely proud of. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team. So let's review the updated driver standings. Daniel increases their championship lead. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Daniel.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders, who lose ground at the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
You handled that well. Thank you.